Have you ever drunk tea?
Yes. Yin.
Ha. Yes.
Sim.
We all drink tea. You may not drink hot leaves like the British folks, or sugary mess like in Arabic countries, but chances are you have at least drunk iced tea or bubble tea. And by doing so, you participated in the global tea consumption, which is estimated to be about 10,000 cups a second. This number makes tea the most popular beverage in the world. It is consumed literally everywhere. But the drinking habit is not the same in each and every country. In Russia, for example, there is no actual tea time. Every minute is tea time. Friends visiting us? Tea time. Watching a movie with your family? Tea time. Talking about serious business during your work? Tea time. Going to a restaurant? How about a cup of tea with your dog breast? Contrary to standard boilers, they used to have these crazy things called a samovar, which could hold a teapot filled with concentrated tea and water inside of it, which is heated with coal for a long period of time. You just needed to use the tap to pour the boiled water. It is now mainly used for decoration purposes. In Indonesia, people drink teh talua, which is basically finely crushed tea with an egg yolk and sugar. You know, I've always drunk tea and I actually love it. Well, it's quite nice. Taste it.
Sure?
Now, let's go back to its origin and delve deeper into its mother continent, Asia. The origin of tea is still unclear, as it is so far away, and several legends have crossed paths. However, one thing is certain. It was born in Asia. Tea is not taken lightly there, as it was the subject of sacred rituals and highly codified ceremonies, which could last from a few minutes to several hours. Just as each region had its own tea, they also had their own ceremonies. Let's talk about China.
I'm Emile. As you can guess, I'm French with Chinese background, so I'm more like a tea person than a coffee person.
Can you describe your habits concerning tea? Do you drink tea at all?
Not in France.
You're born in France, but like you said, you have Chinese origin. How do people drink tea over there?
They drink tea everywhere at any time. For example, they drink tea at restaurant, at home, but also when you go down to the street, you can see little vendors who sell drinks like water, soda, but also tea.
Legend says that the Emperor Shennong discovered tea in 2737 BC. The emperor only drank boiled water for hygiene, so his servant had the habit of heating water in a pot surrounded by fire. One day, some leaves carried by the wind fell into the pot. When the emperor sipped the infusion, he was overwhelmed with well-being and satisfaction. This is how tea was invented, and he transmitted it as a medicinal plant to the rest of the Chinese people. Over the centuries, tea spread throughout the empire and went from medicine to beverage. It was preserved in compressed bricks to facilitate transport, and was crumbled and infused in a salted broth mixed with spices, flowers, or vegetables. It was called the tea soup.
That's interesting, I guess.
In 780, the Buddhist monk Lu Yu published the first book on the art of tea. The Classic of Tea describes the production, processing, and tasting of tea, and is still a reference work today. He recommended that tea should only be seasoned with a pinch of salt. Following this, tea became the drink of Buddhist monks during meditation.
What does you suggest?
It was Emperor Huizong who introduced tea to the court. He recommended to pulverize the leaves in a grinding stone, then to beat this powder with hot water directly in the bowl with a small whisk. The art of tea was refined and the tea houses developed. The Ming Dynasty saw the appearance of not only numerous colors of tea intended in particular for export, but also the method of infusing tea in bulk the most widespread today. The whole leaves are infused up to 5 times in a teapot or in a gaiwan, Chinese cup with a lid. Following the Cultural Revolution launched by Mao in 1966, the tea houses, symbols of the empire, were closed. However, tea remains a popular beverage drunk by all, and nowadays, tea houses are flourishing again in the big Chinese cities, including posh tea houses, turned towards tasting of great natural teas. In China, tea production is the subject of real research, both scientific and gustatory, as is the case for wine in France. Tea is a high value-added product and also carries a cultural vision, especially through the arts that surround it, such as China. During the second half of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, tea became a global beverage cultivated and consumed in large quantities in many countries, generating an important international trade. It had thus moved out of its original Chinese setting and countries under Chinese cultural influence. However, with the decline of China during the last century of the Qing, the disruption of economic circuits, internal wars, and the takeover of the economy of Chinese provinces by foreign powers, Chinese tea growing experienced a marked decline, while new production centers of the British Empire, such as India or Ceylon, took a major place. Political unrest and military disasters in the first half of the 20th century worsened the situation, and the Chinese tea industry was in ruins by the 1940s, as evidenced by the fact that no tea exports are recorded for the year 1944. China is now once again the world's largest tea producer. Tea was also used in ancient times as a tool to kill someone. Please meet the assassin's teapot. The way to use it was really simple. There were 2 compartments, one you could fill with harmless tea, and the other one you could add a little mystery ingredient to get rid of somebody. If you were to put your finger on either hole at the base of the teapot, you could hold the liquid and pour whichever one you wanted.
I've heard about cyanide tea. What about we prompt Donovan with it? Hey Donovan, you want some tea?
Oh yeah, thanks
I made
bro.
quite a lot, so you can have it.
Yay. Thank you very much.
It's a new Chinese tea.
Yeah, it's original. It's very original.
How do you see the transformation in tea consumption, like bubble tea, for instance? Is that a good thing, or is it denaturing the base product?
To be honest, when you add something new into the base product, you are denaturing it. But you're also creating a new product that maybe many people would like it.
Tea consumption has changed a lot through the ages. Through the classical approach is to drink it as is or with a pinch of salt. People now tend to add a lot of more sugar to enhance its flavor. But that's not all. We mentioned in the beginning iced tea or bubble tea. Those are derived from authentic tea, but their sweetness made it a much more popular beverage, and they are found just about anywhere in the world. There are also matcha tea or even tea tuala, which are different kinds of tea. Whatever your taste, there's a big chance we'll find one that suits you, since there are so many different types. Perhaps we'll see ever more different kinds of tea by the next decade, but that will be for the next episode.
I think we tried enough tea for today. How about we stop for now?
Yes. See you next time, guys.